All right, welcome to video introducing some of the things that you're going to want to know how to do in this course. So I talked about a lot of them yesterday in class, but I didn't have the visuals working right, and that thing that I wasn't working still isn't working, but I found a workaround so that I can still actually go through and show you what I'm talking about so that you know exactly where to go in order to do the things that you're going to need to do for this course. So right now we find ourselves in the Canvas shell for this class, Applied Calculus for Summer 2021. Okay, so the way you get to Canvas is you go into your VC portal and there's a link in there somewhere. I don't know where it is because the student version is different than the teacher version, and I haven't taken a class at VC in a long time, but it's in there. And it should be fairly prominent. It should be pretty quick to find because it's kind of a major thing, right? So you find Canvas, you click it, and it's going to open up. You're going to see a bunch of squares, and you have one of those for each course. You're going to click the one that says Math V46, and then you're going to end up in what looks like this right here, right? You're going to see these modules. So a module is a grouping. See how they're separated here? So this is one module. This here is another module, and I've got modules for the whole course set up. Now, you won't see everything you see here. For instance, I have things on here that have not been published. So don't worry if you're seeing something in the video that's not showing up on your screen. Not everything ends up on your screen. Sometimes I put something on here and then decide not to use it. So don't worry about that. These upcoming chapters will be released to you, but we're not going to put it all yet because we're not there yet, right? I'm not going to put all of it up yet. So these are things that you'll be seeing as we go along. For right now, you just want to focus on these first two modules. The introductory module is full of resources that are going to tell you all the stuff you need to know for being in an online class at Ventura College. Some of it is specific to this course, which I tried to put more towards the beginning. And then some of it is just stuff that is available at VC. Ventura College, like almost all community colleges, have tons of resources for students that most students don't know about. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here, and you may not think you need those, and some of you may not need some of those resources, but as the semester progresses, you might need them, right? So for instance, I've had students where halfway through the course, all of a sudden their Canvas shell goes really weird and doesn't work right. Well, I can't fix your Canvas shell. That's not like, I don't even have access to it, nor do I have the expertise for fixing Canvas. So you're going to have to contact VC. Now that's super rare. I think that's happened one time, but that student needed to contact VC. The right contact information is in here in these resources, and then they straighten it all out for her. Okay, so but there's all sorts of stuff. If you're having mental health issues, there's links where you can make contact with the Ventura College health center. I think we call it the health center. There's a food bank. So those of you who may not have enough food, there's a food bank on campus. There's resources for students who are homeless. There's all sorts of stuff that's in there. So as well as academic stuff. If you need to meet with a counselor, you need to do different things, those resources are in here, right? So you can look through those. But again, these first few are specific to this course and things you absolutely should know in order to go forward. Now, some of these in this first module are just for you to read, like right here, welcome to the class, start here. You click that, it takes you into the page. There's a little video I made at the very beginning of the pandemic. There's some basic information about the course and then a few links about if you're having technical issues and stuff like that. So this would be an example of a page. All you do is go in and watch it, and then you know what's going on. There are other so here for your homework, you want to know how does homework work in this class? Well, you click homework, and here there's a video of me talking about it, and then there's some information down here, and then there's even a PDF. If I can't scroll on here right the way it's set up, but there's directions. You print that. It's gonna, if you're confused, it's gonna tell you exactly how to set up the homework. In fact, let me double check that that's still current. Yes, that should all work perfectly. So I want to reiterate, if you when you're signing up for the My Math Lab, do not go to the MyMathLab website. If you do that, you're doing it wrong. And then I get emails from students saying, I need the course code so that I can sign up. You do not need the course code. If you're going to the MyMathLab website and setting it up, it's not going to work right. You need to go through Canvas in order to make this work correctly. So that's why even in the directions, it says, first enter your Canvas course, and then once you're in there, go through Canvas. I can't put it on screen right now, but follow the directions, okay? A lot of things where people go wrong in a math class in college is they don't follow the directions. They make up their own thing that they want to do, and then they say, oh, Dr. Frederick, I need you to do this because here's where I'm at. And I said, but you've done the wrong thing. It's not going to work right. So just follow the directions. That's actually a piece of advice that I would give you for just being successful as a student in general, is do what the professor tells you, okay? Almost all times when someone starts doing poorly in the class, it's because the professor says, okay, do these 3 steps right here. And then a student will say, well, step 1's okay, but step 2 sounds like a lot of work. So I'm going to do this different thing that is different than what you said to do. And then when it goes wrong, then they come to me and they're saying, well, I need you to fix this for me because I'm doing something different than what you said. Just follow the advice of your professor. They're the ones who designed the course. They see hundreds of examples of a year of what works and what doesn't work with each student. Just if your teacher says do this, you should just do that. And that's how you get a good grade in the course, right? Don't deviate and say, well, he said to do this step, but I'm going to change it around and do it differently, right? That generally ends up in people having problems. So just don't do that, right? Okay, so go in and get the homework set up. Couple things about the homework. It is the only thing you have to purchase in here. So instead of having you purchase a book, I don't make you have a physical book in the class. You purchase the online access code, which does come with an electronic version of the book, right? So just think of it as buying the book, okay? But it's really that you're buying access to do the homework. Now, here's a point that a lot of people miss. You can still start the homework temporarily without paying for it, right? It even mentions this here. Use the temporary, it's not quite on, there yet. Use the temporary free access while you prepare to pay the fee. It gives you 14 days to pay. That's 2 weeks. So next week, I'm going to have students coming to me and saying, I'm sorry I'm behind, but I didn't have my money to buy the license. Nope, that doesn't make any sense. So again, it's back to just follow the directions of what the teacher is telling you. I know what it's like. I had to wait tables to put myself through school. I know money's tight when you're a student. You don't need your money for like 10 to 14 more days. So that gives you some time to kind of pull it together. In the meantime, you can use it for free because, the publishers used to not have that free ability to go in there and work on it for free for 2 weeks. But basically what would happen is those students who couldn't afford to buy stuff on day 1 were getting behind and then not doing well. And that's equity issues. Education shouldn't be based on how much money you have. It should be based on your desire to better yourself. So they've changed that. So every one of you watching this right now, you can go in and start the homework today, right now, whether you have your money or not. Now, that changes in 2 weeks. In whatever it is, 10 to 14 days, they will make you pay. But that gives you a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. Please do not get behind. Summer classes move very fast. And if you fall behind, it's very difficult to catch up in a summer math class. Okay, so please start the homework and get yourself caught up and then start thinking about how you're going to pay for that in the next 10 to 14 days. Okay, so and if you have any trouble setting this up, see me, make contact with me. I am having, after class each day, I basically will have this open period. I have 2 classes that I'm teaching this summer. And after we meet on Monday and Wednesday, you can come and get advice from me. Basically, it's like office hours. You can come in, you can ask me questions, you can get help with whatever you need. Whatever direction you need to be successful in this course, come to me at that point, and I can sort of set you on the path to do well. Okay? So that's homework. Then there's the syllabus. The syllabus is posted here. So it's a PDF. You click it. It's available for you, which, let's see, I'm going to have to blow this up a little. Still not quite on there. Let's see. Let me move this over a little bit. Okay, so syllabus, V46, Applied Calculus, Summer 2021. Some of this, like my office, doesn't matter because we're not on ground, so you're not going to get that. Course objectives, student learning outcomes, that's all stuff we legally have to put in here. It won't make a lot of sense because if you knew what all this stuff meant, you wouldn't need to take the course, right? So, but anyways, that's a description in case, let's say that you transfer to school in New Jersey. They're not going to know what Math V46 Applied Calculus at Ventura College in California covers, right? But if you can show them this, they'll go, oh, okay, that's our business calculus class, which is basically what this course is business. Most schools call it business calculus. We call it applied calculus because in each class, there's about one biology student in there who's taking the class to cover biology. So we call it applied calculus, but it's generally business calculus for almost all of you. We've got our grades, right? 50% homework. The homework includes, so I just talked about homework being in my stat lab, but there's also homework assignments in Canvas, mainly the discussions. So make sure you're doing that. There's homework in Canvas. There's homework in my stat lab. There's always a couple students who get confused who do the discussions in Canvas and think, man, there's not very much homework in this class. No, you have to go to my stat lab and do the other stuff. And then sometimes there's students who do the my stat lab and don't realize there's stuff in Canvas they have to do as well. So there's two types of homework. Most of it, the vast majority will be in my stat lab. And just stay current, stay caught up, make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're getting, good grades on each homework assignment, and you should be good to go. And then there's exams, which are 50% of the grade, and those two weighted categories give you your total grade. Okay. Now, it's the typical breakdown: 90, 80, 70, 60, and so on. But there's also this condition: in order to earn a grade of C or above, students must maintain 70% in each home. Oh, I still have participation in there. That used to be a category. I'll have to go in and edit that. Homework and exams. So you have to get a 70% in homework. A lot of times this goes back to, students not taking the advice of the teacher. The obvious advice of the teacher is to get the best grade you can in everything you do in this course. But sometimes students say, well, I'm just going to get 100 on all the tests, and that means I only have to do like 50% of the homework, right? Well, that doesn't work because students who do 50% of the homework end up getting about 50% on the tests. So, but students will try to convince themselves that they're the one who can pull that off, right? That's they're reaching for the brass ring. Like I'm the one person who can do this. It's just not going to happen. So, in order to make sure everyone's doing the steps that are going to make them be successful, you have to have a 70% average in homework. You have to have a 70% average on exams. Now that sounds scary, but you get to retake the first exam. So that's not too bad. So you come in and get a 60 on the first exam, retake it, get that up to an 80. You got yourself a little bit of wiggle room there going into the final. Okay? So just do it all. Do your best, right? Generally when we run into problems is when people are trying to streamline and go, I don't really want to do all the homework. I'm just going to do some of the homework. And then when those students don't meet the cutoff to pass the class, they're like, well, can you give me extra credit or something like that? No, the credit for this course, I'm telling you right now, is homework and exams. That's the credit. Okay, so do the actual credit. Don't worry about things like extra credit. Just do the credit, right? Which is weird. If you put the word extra in front of it, people are more likely to do it. So if you like, just tell yourself that the credit in this course is extra credit. It works the same way, right? So just do the homework, just do the exams. You're good to go, okay? There's so then you'll be in the my math lab. I did get it changed to West Coast times. They changed the settings on my math lab, but it should be running on West Coast times now, so we should be good to go. Let's see what else. Exams. So your exams will have both a written portion that you'll submit to me and a electronic portion. It'll be like the homework assignments, except the rules will be a little bit different as far as like the amount of time given and stuff like that. And then there's a written portion which you'll submit where you have to write out all the solutions, just like if you were in class. You can't do a whole problem and just write 7. You have to like show me the work of what you did, right? I have to verify that you're able to sit down and work through these problems and not just putting them into, whatever. Every month there's some new math tool out there trying to help people cheat. But in this case, I need you to write the stuff out so that I can grade it properly, right? And do yourself a favor, don't try to cheat on stuff, right? Not only does it get you in hot water with VC, which sometimes can essentially mean the end of your student progression at VC, right? It's not like they're going to kick you out, but sometimes the consequences of cheating set a student back so much that they just can't complete the your goals here at VC. So please be honorable. There's a reason you're taking this course, and it's probably because you want to be an accountant or something related to that field. You got to know how to do this stuff, or you're going to get to your job and everyone's going to think you're terrible and you don't know what you're doing. So, do yourself a favor and just learn this stuff now, or you're going to have trouble when you're in that class and your accounting professor is talking about the derivative, and you're like, I don't know what that is or how to calculate it. Just make sure you can do that, okay? So, and we'll talk more about that as that approaches. The exams are a couple weeks off. Don't worry about it yet. Just prepare yourself by doing the homework and watching the videos and doing all the stuff you're supposed to do now to make sure you're ready for that exam when it comes. And don't procrastinate. There's research that shows one of the biggest things holding back human civilization as a whole, procrastination, right? And that's one of the big things you will see in the difference between people who are successful and people who are not successful is the people who are successful didn't procrastinate. They got their stuff done in a reasonable manner, and it works out. If you procrastinate, and this is something that happens in a math class, and you wait till the end and you're trying to do stuff at the end, then first of all, it's very stressful because you're freaking out. Oh, work wants me to work another 45 minutes, but I got to get home because the homework's due at midnight and I haven't done, a whole chapter's worth of homework. I got to get home and do that. You're stressed out. You're probably not going to complete it and get the points that you want. And here's the kicker. You're not going to learn the material. Okay. Your brain doesn't work that way. You can't just sit down and say, all right, I'm going to do a whole chapter's worth of homework and then understand all of it. You might be able to get a lot of the homework done. Your brain will not retain it. Okay. Your brain operates like a muscle. Your brain is not a muscle, but it acts like one, right? So just like you wouldn't say, I want to really get stronger. I want to build up some muscles. Summer's coming. I want to look good at the beach and stuff like that. So I'm going to start working out at the gym. Well, if that's your plan, what you need to do is start working ahead of time, right? 6-9 months ahead of time, you start hitting the gym. Summer rolls around, and you look pretty good at the beach and stuff. What you can't do is eat a bunch of chips and snacks all winter, and then the day before you want to go to the beach, go, you know what? I'm going to spend 20 hours in the gym today, and when I walk out of here, I'm going to look really good. Right? Like that would be ridiculous. No one thinks that that's going to work, but somehow people think that works in a math class. Sometimes, I'm just going to ignore all this stuff and then I'm going to do it all right at the end. It does not work. Usually, like I said, you don't get the points you wanted, but even if you did, your brain doesn't work that way. Just like if you try to hit the gym and do bench press for 12 hours straight, your muscles fatigue and you can't do bench press for 12 hours, right? You do a few sets and your muscles are like, we're pretty worn out, right? And you're not going to get any benefit to bench pressing after that point. Your brain works the same way. You do 2 hours of mathematics, your brain is probably worn out. Now, that doesn't mean your brain doesn't work. You can still do problems, but your brain is not retaining those problems. You're not getting the gains from the homework the way you wouldn't be getting the gains from bench pressing 12 hours a day, right? So, you should do 2 hours of homework, and then at that point, go do something. Go have a meal, go to a movie, hang out with a friend, Come back, do another 2 hours. A few hours later, your brain will have had time to sort of refresh and get back into it. Don't plan to come home and do 4, 5, 6 hours of homework at once. You will not benefit from it, right? And again, take my advice. I literally do this as my career. I've been doing it for, close to 15 years full time, and then teaching before that. I've seen thousands and thousands of cases, and it's pretty clear what works and what doesn't. Procrastinating is a great strategy to do poorly in a class, right? Planning things out, spreading out the work, doing it ahead of time, that's the great strategy for doing well in a math class, okay? So just sort of take my advice on that. Okay, behavior, probably don't have to mention this. Everyone should know this, but anything you do or say related to this course, whether it's a comment on one of the videos or a comment you make in Canvas, that's the same as saying it to me or a student in the classroom, right? So cheating, even though you're in your home, cheating in the class, that's the same as cheating in the classroom, and it will be handled by the school in the same way. Saying some kind of comment to me or a fellow student that is derogatory or inappropriate or racist or anything like that, it's treated just like we were on campus saying that thing to a person, and it's not acceptable, and the school won't tolerate it. So just make sure that any behavior you have in this class, and I'm sure all of you probably don't need to hear this, but occasionally you get students who don't understand proper behavior in a classroom. This, in order to learn, you have to have a safe environment. You have to have a place where people feel like the objective is about learning, and they're free to make mistakes and free to, which is part of the process, making mistakes. So we can't have people being inappropriate in class. So just I'm sure I don't have to say it, but occasionally it needs to be covered. Behave just like we were in a classroom on campus, okay? The deadlines are the deadlines. We move too fast in this class to be extending deadlines. There is no time. 6 weeks to cover 6 chapters. We move quick. So make sure you're getting the homework done on time and get it done on time. So again, don't procrastinate. Don't wait till the end, right? I get emails from students. Oh, I tried to do the whole chapter tonight, but I didn't make it. Right. I'm telling you right now, don't try to do the whole chapter in the last night. It's not going to work. So make sure you're doing all those things. Okay. Also with the syllabus, what I will request before you contact me, if you think, this information might be in the syllabus, read the syllabus first, because with these online classes, I get tons of emails, so I kind of have to prioritize. If you're asking me a question that's in the syllabus, I may not be able to respond to you. In fact, I probably won't respond to that email because there's a reason I post the syllabus. You should check the syllabus, right? You should read it and be familiar with it, and that's why it's posted, so you can come back to it when you need to know that information, okay? That frees me up time to ask the more legitimate questions that students have. So a great example would be, I was working on 2.3 and section 2.3, and the number 7 on the homework, I tried to do it and I got this answer, and it keeps telling me I'm wrong, but I don't understand why. That's a great question because it tells me exactly what you're working on. I can look at that problem, try to figure out what you're doing wrong, and help you with it. That's great. Okay. A problem that I can't really help you with by email would be saying, I don't really get derivatives. Can you just tell me about derivatives? Well, we spend, I think it's 3 chapters on derivatives. So yeah, I can't just, if you just say, yeah, I don't get derivatives, I can't just, okay, here's the secret to derivatives in 5 sentences, right? It's 3 chapters worth of material. So try to be specific in your questions, and then we can work on it. And these kinds of questions you can always ask me after class as well, right? You can talk about that kind of stuff, and we'll go over it so that you can get the help that you need. Okay, so that's the first module, is introductory stuff that you need to basically just know what's going on. Let's see. Here's the course contact. Did I update that? I think I have all that updated. Yes, Monday, Wednesdays. That's like the office hours that I've got. And then we have our meeting times, which were scheduled by when the course was created, right? Okay, so that's the introductory module, how things get going. Then there's the actual material. So the first module, Chapter 1 module, is up. Chapter 1 is largely review. This is like everything in this chapter is from courses that you are prerequisite courses. So it's stuff that you should know before you got here. Now, the reality is many of you will have forgotten stuff because you may not have done it for a while. So that's why we do the review here. But it's super important because there's a lot of stuff that you learned along the way that we won't need in this course. But the things that we do need, you really need. Finding equations of lines, graphing lines, factoring, those especially. Those are like the big three. If you can't do those three things reliably and quickly and comfortably, you just won't pass the course. Okay, so if you've forgotten how to do some of that stuff, go back and review, right? Factoring, graphing lines, and then this other stuff is going to be hugely helpful in getting you through the course so that you can remember how to do things. Exponentials and logarithms come up. Although we don't go real deep with them, you do need to remember the basic tools for dealing with logarithms and exponentials. Okay, so that's kind of introductory stuff. So let's take a look. You come in here, Chapter 1 module introduction. There's a little introduction here, short little video of me talking about some stuff. Then when you go to then we get into the actual stuff. So like section 1.1 functions. If you look at this, you'll see, oh, there's two videos here. One is one that I created, and one is one that I found online. There's a number of professors who have put their entire course videos online, and they are great. There's no point in me reproducing them because they are fantastic, right? So sometimes you'll watch a video of me talking. Sometimes you'll watch a video of another professor covering the same thing. Pretty much using the same book. In fact, this person, I believe, is using the same book that we use, so it matches up. It all matches. It's good to go. So this is section 1.1 functions. You would watch the videos. Once you've watched the videos, you go do the homework in My Math Lab, right? So remember with My Math Lab, you've got this. Let me move this over. There's a link right over here on the side. I don't know why they put the name differently in different places, but it says Mylab and Mastering. That's what you're going to click in order to first set up your homework, and then after you've set up the homework, do the homework. Okay, so you'd click this, and it says, hey, do you want to enter? And yeah, you would click it, and then you would go inside. But when I click it, it's going to look totally different than you because it's going to give me the teacher version, whereas you're getting the student version. If you're clicking this and it's not working, then you're probably on your phone. This stuff does not work well on phones. Canvas does not work well on phones in general. My Math Lab does not work well on phones. So I would, sometimes people can get it to work, but many students every semester come to me and go, oh, I can't get this to work on my phone. I say, try a laptop. Oh, it works perfectly now. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, especially on iPhones, Flash and stuff like that it doesn't work on the iPhone. So a lot of these, the tools that make these websites work don't work on phones. So if it's not working on your phone, find a computer. There are computers on campus that you can show up and use free, totally free. You just show up and they're open like most of the day. They're open. You show up, use the computers to do your homework, and then you can leave. Hopefully you have a computer at home so you can do it in the comfort of your own home, a little bit more relaxing, but that's how that's going to work. So you'll click here, you'll go in. Your first time, you'll have to do a few things to set everything up, and then it's going to give you the homework and you go from there. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. And then, yeah, you just work through it. You work through the individual sections. You make sure that you're doing the corresponding homework, and then notice that we have these discussions at the end of the chapter. These are for you to help each other. You're all very isolated right now. You can do this course without actually sitting next to anyone, asking them questions, helping each other out. It's very, very isolated situations. So these discussions are a chance for you to get in there and ask for help. Don't feel bad about asking for help. Don't feel like, oh, if I ask a question, everyone's going to think I'm a big dummy. No, that's not how it works. You should be asking questions. You should be getting help. You're never going to see these people after this course anyways, so who cares what they think? Your goal, and they're not going to think badly of you anyways, because the truth is most of you all feel the same way, where you're a little bit nervous, you're a little bit scared, you don't want everyone else to judge you, but the thing is, you all feel that way. So don't worry about it, right? But go in there, ask questions, get help. The goal, every one of you has the goal of being successful in this course, right? And you are more likely to get that if you get help along the way than if you just try to do everything in isolation. The campus has tutoring, which you can get help. There's the discussion forums here in Canvas, which you can help each other. And then there's the post-class meetings in which you can ask me questions as well. Okay, so make sure you're doing all that. These are graded. It's chapter 1 discussion. This will be graded. So once it closes, I go in and grade it, and you get points. So why not do it, right? It's not that hard. Come in here and say, man, what is the prompt for this one? Let's see. It's a graded discussion. Oh, when it comes to comments, leave a meaningful comment. You can't just come in here and put great comment to someone else and then expect to get credit. They have to be meaningful, valuable comments, right? And don't sit there and go like, oh, is my comment valuable enough? Just ask yourself, is there content and meaning in your question? Right? I'm not saying it has to be a life-changing event, but if you come in and respond to someone else and say, I agree, there's not really anything valuable there. Or you say, oh, great comment, I like what you said, there's nothing valuable there. But if you come in and say, man, I really struggled with section 1.3, I just kind of don't get what that section was about. I'm not sure if I understand it. Does anyone know how to, I got stuck on problem number 7 on the homework. Did anyone figure out how to do that? Answer each other's questions, right? So that's kind of the prompt here. Do you understand the material from chapter 1 that you're supposed to know? Did you relearn the material because it's review? Were you stuck or lost? And any other kind of questions would be fine in here too, right? For instance, some of you are going to be, like most of you will just sort of naturally understand how to use the online homework. Some of you might have a question and go, I'm not sure how to graph the line. How do you do that? Like that's the common thing is graphing. I'm not sure how to put the tangent line on this graph. And then someone else is going to come in and say, oh, click the button that has the line and then click 2 points to form the line. And then, and they're explaining to you how to do it. That's a great comment, right? Because you just helped another student figure out how to do the stuff they need to do. And it's kind of interesting. When you explain something to someone else, you actually learn it better yourself. And this seems counterintuitive because you go, well, if I'm explaining it to someone, then don't I already know it? And the answer is this is why teachers get really good at knowing the subjects that they teach, because when you explain something to someone else, you have to organize it in your head. So when you first learn something, you might just be like struggling and you're like, okay, I can get through this problem, but it's not very easy. When you have to explain it to someone, you're organizing it in your head, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, this actually makes a lot more sense to me. I see this in the classroom when students are explaining things to each other. The person who's doing the explaining will go, oh, yeah, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good explanation. And they actually benefit from that explanation. Okay, so make sure you're doing these. It's relatively easy points, right? It's not so easy that you can just write great comment, but it's a relatively easy way to get points in here and move forward. Okay, so that should be most of what you need to get started. So sorry I didn't have the visuals yesterday, but they're here now. If you're still struggling with getting any of this up and going, come see me. Come talk to me about it. Contact me one way or another. If you email me, like if you contact me through Canvas, it's going to tell me what class you're in. If you send an email to me, please just tell me, oh, I'm in the applied calculus class. Because otherwise, if I have to hunt around, like it takes a while to figure out what class you're in. And if if you're like, whatever your question is, try to be specific. I get way more emails where students are too general and I don't really know what they're asking than I get people being too specific. Okay, so it's better for you to be very specific and say, I was working on homework problem number 7 on 2.3 and I keep getting it wrong. Here's what I got and I'm not sure why I'm doing it wrong. Then and I'm in your math applied calculus class. Then I know exactly what you need, right? And I can immediately get in there and help you immediately. If you just say, and I literally get emails where people just say, I'm confused, I'm not sure what to do. Well, what response are you expecting from that? I don't even understand what the issue is, right? So make it clear to me what you're doing. Be detailed and specific, your class and your concern, and then I can get back to you in an email. Okay? So that's it for now. I will see you tomorrow in class, and hopefully this video was helpful for you.